Elon Musk and the XAI team are building a competitor to Microsoft Windows called Macrohard. And the premise is it will be an end-to-end neural network operating system. That means everything that you're familiar with your operating system, from Mac to Linux to Windows, can be generated by artificial intelligence. This is a massive departure from what we know as a traditional operating system today. This is not the first time I've talked about this. I really do see a future in which everything, video games, movies, music, software, and yes, even the operating system can be generated real time. So here's the announcement. Join XAI and help build a purely AI software company called Macrohard. It's a tongue-in-cheek name, but the project is very real. Obviously, Macrohard, Microsoft, that's the joke. In principle, given that software companies like Microsoft do not themselves manufacture any physical hardware, it should be possible to simulate them entirely with AI. Now, here's the thing. I don't actually think it matters whether they manufacture hardware or not. Apple does. They manufacture both the hardware and the software. But the point is, traditional operating systems with deterministic code might actually be replaced by non-deterministic code in the future. Obviously, we can't have an operating system that isn't consistent and hallucinates, but it does seem possible in the future that we can actually generate an end-to-end AI operating system. We've already seen hints of this with video games, especially in the last few weeks with products like Genie 3 and Matrix Game. These are fully controllable 3D worlds that get generated on the fly. So if we could do that, why can't we generate an operating system? I'll keep an eye on this story for you going forward. Next, Meta is partnering with Midjourney to bring Midjourney to all of Meta's users. Check this out, Alexander Wang, Chief AI Officer at Meta. Today, we're proud to announce a partnership with Midjourney to license their aesthetic technology for our future models and products, bringing beauty to billions. This technical collaboration between our research teams is part of our effort to team up with the best companies in the industry whose work and expertise complements our own. I think that means they couldn't make a good enough text-to-image model. That is why they're going with Midjourney as a partner. We are incredibly impressed by Midjourney. They have accomplished true feats of technical and aesthetic excellence, and we are thrilled to be working more closely with them. So I think this is a really cool announcement. I really hope that Meta offers all of Midjourney's features for free, but we'll see. That's all the information we have right now, just a partnership between Meta and Midjourney. And let me just briefly tell you about the free guide that the sponsor of today's video, HubSpot, is offering right now. One of the most valuable ways to use GPT-5 is for marketing use cases to help you create marketing material and think about strategy as well. That's why I recommend HubSpot's GPT-5 marketing stack 10 advanced prompts. It gives you 10 prompts to help you not only create marketing copy, but understand your funnel, come up with the metrics, come up with the formulas to calculate the metrics, all to improve the marketing for your business. And it is all free. So one example is turning GPT-5 into a attribution modeling expert, basically helping you figure out where your leads are coming from and why they're converting. And yes, all of this can be done with a prompt. And my favorite part is GPT-5 is a great creative writer, and so you're gonna get a prompt that gets it to write incredible marketing copy for your business. Go download the GPT-5 Marketing Stack 10 Advanced Prompts right now for free. And thanks again to HubSpot for sponsoring this video. Now back to the video. And next, speaking of fully generated video games, we have another one. We had Genie 3 from Google, we had Matrix Game from Skywork AI, and now we have Mirage 2 from Dynamics Lab. Introducing Mirage 2, a real-time general domain generative world engine you can play online. Upload any image, photos, concept art, classic paintings, kids' drawings, and step into it as a live interactive world. Prompt your worlds with text to create any surreal scenes and wild events. Then share a link your friends can jump in and play instantly. So I don't think it's necessarily multiplayer, but once you create something, you can share that creation with other people. So here's an example. In a picturesque rural village inspired by a European architecture, warm sunlight bathes the cobblestone pathways winding around a central square where a tall yellow church, and then it continues. And you can see we have WASD, of course, we have run, jump, swing a sword, maybe target, and of course we have the arrow keys as well. So more control, let's take a look. So very stylized, almost kind of cell shaded style, but yeah, you can move around and you can explore this world. Very cool. Here's another example. Of course, this is Van Gogh's Starry Night, and you can actually walk around and explore it. So this is an example of uploading an image and being able to explore a 2D image in 3D, but not just explore it, you can actually interact with it. So very, very cool. So one more example. Here's a sketch of old time. I believe this is San Francisco. And what if we brought that to life? And there you go. You can see the old school cars, kind of a little bit newish car, definitely a different era there, but this just looks really good, and I can't wait to explore different worlds that I come up with. And the best part is it's available right now. So here's a comparison against Genie 3. So Control, we have navigation, promptable world events for Genie 3. Mirage 2, you can also run, jump, and attack. For Genie 3, you get multiple minutes. For Mirage 2, 10 plus minutes. And the computing required, a single consumer GPU. So you can try this right now, dynamicslab.ai. And next we have another demo from the Figure team. This is the Figure robot folding a towel. It might seem like an easy task, but in fact, this type of very dexterous movement is quite hard for AI, especially, again, end-to-end neural net AI. So that's what we're seeing here. This was not pre-programmed. This is not teleoperated. It is just looking at the table, looking at the towels, and folding them based on an instruction to simply fold the towels. So just a few weeks ago, we saw the Figure robot loading laundry, and now we see it folding. So it just seems like we're so close to having an in-house personal chore robot. All right, next, the AI industry has gotten together and created a super PAC, not specific to Democrats or Republicans. This is bipartisan, but on behalf of artificial intelligence. This is called Leading the Future. LTF and its affiliated organizations will promote policies that unlock the transformative and economic benefits of AI. From their press post, with more than $100 million in initial funding already committed, LTF is the first comprehensive bipartisan effort by the AI industry to organize political support and elect pro-innovation candidates at scale. So, the supporters of the Super PAC include Andreessen Horowitz, Greg and Anna Brockman, Ron Conway, Joe Lonsdale, and Perplexity. It will begin operations in New York, California, Illinois, and Ohio. I tend to be in favor of less regulation, especially around artificial intelligence. Hopefully that's what this Super PAC is going to achieve, but we'll see. I will keep you updated. And next, Perplexity has announced Comet Plus. It's a new subscription that gives Perplexity users access to premium content from a group of selected publishers and journalists. So my understanding of Comet Plus's goal is they want to deliver high quality content to the end user, typically synthesized by artificial intelligence, by Perplexity, but they also want publishers and journalists to get paid, which I really appreciate as a creator myself. Now, they announced it as a $5 standalone subscription, which again is $5 on top of everything else you're paying, all of the other AI subscriptions, which it adds up. But if you get access to high quality content, maybe that's worth it to you. Now, the one thing missing from this announcement is any publishers that they're working with. It says right here, we'll announce our initial roster of publishing partners when Comet becomes available to all users for free. So it's not quite clear what that means. Are they still working on building this out? Did they announce it too early? I really think they should have announced at least a handful of publishers that they're working with so we get an idea of what this program is going to look like. But one thing is clear, we are definitely going to need new monetization frameworks for publishers, for journalists in this new world of artificial intelligence. When I have Comet open and I can just click a button and say, go read this article and give me a summary of it, of course that means that publisher's article is losing page views and thus revenue. So there really does need to be something different here. All right, next, GPT-5 plays Pokemon Crystal and beats it. And not only beats it, but does so in a very task-efficient way. Now, just last week, we spoke to Greg Cameron from ArcPrize, and he talked about how important efficiency is in the ArcPrize benchmark. And what we're seeing with GPT-5 is it is very efficient. So GPT-5 beat Red, the final boss, in 9,517 steps versus 27,040 for O3, a huge improvement. Why is task efficiency so important? Well, it costs less, the latency is lower, and you can put all of those saved tokens back into thinking longer. So for harder tasks, they become more feasible to solve in a shorter period of time. So here you can see the difference in curve. This purple is GPT-5. This is the badge progression. And you can see here, this is O3. And it takes a lot longer. Down below on the x-axis, you're seeing the number of steps. So it's being live streamed. Go check it out. I'll drop a link down in the description below. And next, Google and Meta are teaming up. Meta is going to be paying Google $10 billion for cloud compute infrastructure. So according to the information, Google has struck a major cloud computing deal with Meta Platforms. As part of the agreement, the social media giant will use Google Cloud's server, storage, networking, and other services. And so I believe this is probably a stopgap measure as Meta is building out its own server farms. But Google with Google Cloud has been offering cloud infrastructure for a long time. So they seem to be way ahead in terms of build out as compared to Meta. So it really seems like Meta's putting all the pieces in place from talent to computing architecture to really bolster its AI development efforts. Next, in a story that is kind of weird to me, the US government now owns 10% of Intel. I don't really understand why that's a good thing, but let me read a little bit from the announcement and maybe it'll make more sense. So Intel and Trump administration reached historic agreement to accelerate American technology and manufacturing leadership. Now, for those of you not aware, Intel has been the first on many silicon chip innovations over decades, but in the last decade plus, they've really fallen behind, especially in the AI race. Intel has focused on CPUs where NVIDIA focused on GPUs, and of course, AI is powered by GPUs. So under the terms of the agreement, the United States government will make an $8.9 billion investment in Intel common stock, reflecting the confidence the administration has in Intel to advance key national priorities and the critically important role the company plays in expanding the domestic semiconductor industry. Also, Intel was really the last company to manufacture chips in the United States. Everything went out to companies like TSMC. So I don't really understand why this is a good thing for the United States. It just seems anti-capitalist for the United States government to own companies. But I also understand the strategic importance of companies like Intel, and Intel was kind of on its last breath. So if it gets an investment and it's able to come back and we're able to build chips in the US, I'm all for that. So I'm definitely conflicted about this story. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And a special thank you to Dell Technologies for sponsoring this portion of the video. Dell's Pro Max family of PCs are incredibly powerful for AI workloads. Using the new Grace Blackwell series of NVIDIA GPUs, including GB300 and GB10. These are absolute monster GPUs in your desktop. Learn more about Dell Pro Max GB10 and GB300 and the Dell Pro Max lineup of workstations with NVIDIA RTX Pro GPUs. Click the link in the description below. Let them know I sent you. Check it out. All right, next, just last week, Microsoft CEO of AI, Mustafa Suleyman, put out a blog post that was fascinating. In it, he talks about AI and it becoming sentient and how that may affect humans, specifically the dangers of actually looking into whether or not these AI models have consciousness. Listen to this. He published a blog post on Tuesday arguing that the study of AI welfare is both premature and frankly dangerous. He says that adding credence to the idea that AI models could one day become conscious, these researchers are exacerbating human problems that we're just starting to see around AI-induced psychotic breaks and unhealthy attachments to chatbots. So if humans start thinking of AI as conscious, it's actually going to generate more problems around AI over attachment and emotional relationships and psychosis, which has been a growing problem. But on the other end of the spectrum, Anthropic's researchers have been going deep into figuring out what's going on inside of these models. So on the other end of the spectrum is Anthropic, which has been hiring researchers to study AI welfare and recently launched a dedicated research program around the concept. They believe we should be treating AI as potentially human, not exactly human, but they should have welfare. Here's an example. Claude can now end conversations with humans who are being persistently harmful or abusive. What do you think about this? Are we there yet? Or is Mustafa right that by thinking this, we're actually causing ourselves as humans more problems? All right, next, Mistral AI has released Mistral Medium 3.1, and it is performing incredibly well. Look at this, number 2, above Grok 4, above GLM 4.5, above even GPT-5. This is incredible, second only to Gemini 2.5 Pro. Top 3 in coding and long queries, and 8th overall. Small model, big impact. So it seems like a good model, go give it a try. All right, next, the CEO of Uber says that camera-only self-driving systems are not going to reach superhuman levels of driving, and points to Google with their Waymo using LiDAR as the best approach. Now, this is more of the same of the bitter lesson. Do end-to-end neural nets scaled up always win in the end over more human-curated or even multiple input type systems? All right, listen to this.
I personally believe that autonomous vehicles have to have superhuman levels of safety. I don't think it's good enough for them to be better than humans. They have to be multiple times better than humans, and Waymo's certainly proven that that's possible. Why not take that shot? I think in the near term it's going to be very difficult, and Elon would tell me I'm wrong, and never bet against him, but it's my instinct that in the near term it's going to be very difficult to build a camera-only product that has superhuman levels of safety. And again, now, at some point, will it be possible? Quite possibly, yes. But if you can have instrumentation that includes cameras and LiDAR, and the cost of LiDAR, solid state LiDAR now is $400, $500. Why not include LiDAR as well in order to achieve superhuman safety? Possible, it will be possible. I don't know when, but is the possible the better product? I'm not sure. All of our partners that we're working with now are using a combination of camera, radar, and LiDAR, and I personally think that's the right solution.
So you can see Uber is thinking differently, but Tesla and Elon Musk thinks cameras plus end-to-end neural nets is all you need. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. As a human, when you're sitting in the car, you really only have 2 eyes, and that's it. And you're able to drive incredibly well. So why wouldn't AI be able to just use vision? It seems like it makes sense to me. Now, Elon Musk commented on this. LiDAR and radar reduce safety due to sensor contention. If LiDAR's radars disagree with cameras, which one wins? And he goes on to say, that's why Waymos can't drive on highways. Now, I suspect that's not necessarily true, because I would actually think that driving in San Francisco, and I've used the Waymo in San Francisco, is much more difficult for a car to do than just driving on the freeway. Now, I could be wrong, but it just seems that way to me. We turned off the radars in Teslas to increase safety, cameras for the win. So it's not often we get to see enormous bets from different companies on different technologies compete with each other, and now we do. We'll see if the camera-only approach is best, or if LiDAR and radar included is necessary. All right, and next, NVIDIA just announced Jetson Thor, their chipset specifically for robots. So according to NVIDIA, the Jetson Thor series modules gives you the ultimate platform for physical AI and robotics, delivering up to 2070 FP4 T-flops of AI compute and 128 gigabytes of memory with power configurable between 40 watts and 130 watts. They deliver over 7.5 times higher AI compute than the NVIDIA AGX Orin with 3.5 times better energy efficiency. So if you're into robots, this is really cool. And last, according to a study by MIT, 95% of AI pilots end up failing. That's not like airplane pilots. That's test programs that enterprise companies roll out to see if something's gonna work or not. So listen to this. Despite the rush to integrate powerful new models, about 5% of AI pilot programs achieve rapid revenue acceleration. The vast majority stall, delivering little to no measurable impact on P&L. That is based on 150 interviews with leaders, a survey of 350 employees, and analysis of 300 public AI deployments. Now, what's likely going on here is a company seeing all the hype and momentum in AI just says, hey, CEO, or hey, team, go build AI right now. And they don't think about it as much. They just try to deliver on this AI promise without really understanding where the technical limitations of artificial intelligence are and trying to build around that. And also finding the best use cases. AI is not applicable to all use cases yet. So you really have to understand the technology, understand its limits, know the use cases that are most applicable, and just test a ton. There's going to be a lot of failures along the way, and that is okay. We need to figure out what works and how. So whether or not this study is fully accurate, I'm not actually too worried about the results. Of course, I'm an optimist. Of course, I believe in AI. And I have seen so many incredible use cases, both in my personal life and my business, that have just gained so much value from using AI. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.